So, being in leadership for the past year and 3 months has really taught me a lot about leadership and overall what it takes to be a good leader in general. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel like one of the key pieces to understanding what a good leader is by experiencing leaders that don't really know what they're doing or leaders that really didn't treat you the best at all, right? That's what's actually going to help you understand what a leader shouldn't be doing, right? Versus what a leader should be. And your boy has had his experiences of bosses that, let's just say, didn't do their job properly at all, and I'm sure as we all have. But so when you can kind of work under people who don't really have a clear sense of direction, who don't really have like a leadership mentality, or just don't really know how to conduct a staff in a proper way, it really allows you to be able to see some of the flaws in certain aspects of what being a leader means. And there's a couple things here that really separates a true leader versus somebody who in my personal opinion, shouldn't be there, right? Here are the first couple of things. I will first start off by saying that I'm super grateful for the leadership and the bosses that I work around and the people in leadership that I work with at this current time. It's really great, and I'm really blessed. They've taught me a lot about being a leader and how to really conduct, staff in a proper way, and I'm super grateful for that. But I think one of the main aspects of being a leader is being able to take accountability, right? Being able to express, not only understand when you're wrong and point that out, but express it to other people, right? So say if there's a project that you're working on and you assign somebody to a specific thing and you assign someone else to something completely different, and they don't really do it as efficiently, or say that you just make a mistake on payroll, whatever it is, you just make a mistake blatantly, right? And it might affect, not necessarily payroll because that's a little bit more serious, but let's just say, there were certain counts that were messed up, or you'd forgotten to give somebody a specific task for what they're doing. It's important to kind of come out and say, hey, I apologize. I really messed up here, and because what that does is it builds trust with your team, right? If a leader is stepping up and saying that he or she can be wrong, then it's going to allow the staff that you work with to be more comfortable expressing and taking accountability for their actions that they might mess up on, right? So it's a win-win all around. The second thing that I think is super, just as important, if not more important, is we talked about accountability at the beginning of this video, but the other thing that's really important, almost as important as taking accountability in yourself, I think it's celebrating when others are doing good, right? Celebrating when your staff has done something really well that you like, right? This is going to encourage them to want to do better, and it's going to encourage them to want to remain at that pace, right? And they're going to want to really show up for you, right? I'm just thinking of the leaders that I've had in the past, whether it's been coaches or, mentors or just bosses that I've worked with, what has really allowed me to really trust them and really actually, enjoy working and being with them has been them being able to and willing to express what they've actually liked about certain things that I do specifically, right? And so I think that's just as important, if not more, than taking accountability yourself and being able to acknowledge the things that you do wrong, right? Because true leadership is about serving the people that you work with and serving the people who you are around. And if you're not doing that, if you're not showing up for the people who are in your corner and in your space, then you're just doing it for selfish reasons, and that's going to show. People aren't going to be as willing to want to work with you, and they're not really going to honestly want to trust you as much. The main thing that is going to build trust is going to be when you can take accountability for yourself, as well as celebrating others when they're doing well. I think those are two of the main components to being well. I know that there's a lot of other great attributes of a leader that make somebody a good leader. So if you think of some of those, let me know down in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear your take on this. What makes a great leader? What is something that you guys have noticed that being in leadership yourself or experiencing a lot of bosses in your past, what are things that you would say that is doing good, or what makes a good leader, I guess would be my question. So with all that being said, my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A little bit of truth about leadership here on my page. But like I said, man, comment below what makes a good leader in your opinion. And I am going to be going live later today, so make sure to catch in and tune in for that. Peace, love, and happiness, y'all. Mwah.